relationship with the European Union. These thousands of hours of hard negotiation by UK officials and many meetings which I and other ministers held with our EU counterparts. I firmly believe that the draft withdrawal agreement was the best that could be negotiated, and it was for the Cabinet to decide whether to move on in the talks. The choices before us were difficult, particularly in relation to the Northern Ireland backstop. But the collective decision of Cabinet was that the government should agree the draft withdrawal agreement and the outline political declaration. This is a decisive step which enables us to move on and finalise the deal in the days ahead. These decisions were not taken lightly, but I believe it is a decision that is firmly in the national interest. When you strip away the detail, the choice before us is clear. This deal, which delivers on the vote of the referendum, which brings back control of our money, laws and borders, ends free movement, protects jobs, security and our union, or leave with no deal or no Brexit at all. I know that there will be difficult days ahead. This is a decision which will come under intense scrutiny, and that is entirely as it should be and entirely understandable. But the choice was this deal, which enables us to take back control and to build a brighter future for our country, or going back to square one, with more division, more uncertainty, and a failure to deliver on the referendum. It's my job as Prime Minister to explain the decisions that the government has taken, and I stand ready to do that, beginning tomorrow with a statement in Parliament. But if I may end by just saying this, I believe that what I owe to this country is to take decisions that are in the national interest. And I firmly believe, with my head and my heart, that this is a decision which is in the best interests of our entire United Kingdom.
Well, that there was the British Prime Minister Theresa May confirming that the Cabinet have agreed to back her draft Brexit proposals. She said the choice was between this deal or going back to square one, and they have decided to back it. She says it is in the best interests of the entire UK. Well, hopefully we can speak to our correspondent, Vincent McAviney, who is live in London for us. And Vinny, bring us right up to date to what Theresa May had to say.
Well, Sam, you just heard Theresa May coming out of Downing Street there after 5 hours of the Cabinet meeting. She came out, she went to the mic, and she confirmed that the government has decided to back her plan that they have spent months negotiating in Brussels. Now, no word yet if that is the full Cabinet, if anyone has resigned, but it seems that the collective agreement of most of the Cabinet is to go ahead with that plan. The Prime Minister says that it's taken hours upon hours of work to get here, that there have been people working through the night on the past couple of days to get this done, and that the government thinks that it is the right thing for the future. The Prime Minister speaking personally at the end, saying in her head and her heart she believes that this is in the national interest, and called on those in Parliament to support her deal, saying it was in the national interest to do so. Now, the Prime Minister has gone back inside Downing Street. We did think that she was going to hold a press conference later on. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. And she said she'll go to Parliament tomorrow to give them a statement updating them. Now, at some point in the next couple of hours, we think this deal is going to be simultaneously published on the EU's website and the number 10 Downing Street website, all 500 pages of it, we think. Those will be combed through in the next couple of hours. MPs will be very anxious to look through to see what's in this deal, because after her statement tomorrow, they'll be trying to get questions to the Prime Minister. They'll be debating it in Parliament. Elsewhere tonight, we're hearing that the Brexit group, the Brexiteers, are pretty angry about what they had heard so far in PMQs and from the leaks overnight. They weren't happy with the situation with Northern Ireland on the DUP's part, with it being kept in a closer alignment, this swimming pool analogy that's being used about how it will operate in the future. And then the Brexiteers unhappy about some of the concessions made, about workers' rights, about environmental rights, about the state aid rules. They think that this is still the UK simply just taking rules without having a say on them. So we could accidentally stumble into a no confidence vote because we think the number of letters submitted currently sits in the high 30s or the low 40s. It has to get to 48 to trigger a vote of no confidence and a leadership election. The ERG group, which is the collective body of the hardcore Brexiteers, say that they haven't taken an official position, but it might be that individual members are so minded after hearing what the Prime Minister's had to say tonight and without seeing the deal properly that they just decide to put in those letters of no confidence and we stumble into a leadership challenge tomorrow. So the Prime Minister, it seems tonight, will go back in. She'll have to prepare what she's going to say and then she'll have to face the Commons tomorrow. But on her own side, people seem very divided, not to mention the opposition, which have repeatedly said, the Labour Party, the SNP, the Lib Dems, that they will vote down this deal that the government has now agreed on. Its path through Parliament looked very hard. I think the best way, and I know I've said it all day, to explain this is, up until now, getting to this point, it has been a bilateral negotiation between Theresa May's team and the EU, a collective 27 countries who have spoken with one voice. Now that is a game of chess. What the Prime Minister is going to now down in Parliament is like a Rubik's Cube. All of the parties are completely messed up on where they are in terms of Brexit. They have leavers and remainers in all of them. And every time the PM will try to move to solve this problem, you'll turn to another side and it'll be whacked out once again. So it's going to be pretty hard for the Prime Minister to get this through the House of Commons.